Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
All righty. Man, what a time to be alive. There is so much to talk about this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Unscripted. I'm your boy, Jay McLovin, and I got my boy, Logan Landers. Logan, how you doing, man?
Yo, what up, Jay? It's been a wild day in the newsroom at my job, as we've talked about off the air, man, but my God, we've had a lot of sports action going on as well. So it's been a wild, just past 48 hours since our last show, man. Oh, my God.
Yeah, we typically like to do mini shows just to update this, but it's happened so damn fast, we can't get it out enough. But again, hey, we're going to talk a lot about that here today. And if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to our content. You can check us out on Twitter under Unscripted Guys, all one word. My TV's crazy. Unscripted Guys, all one word on Twitter, and Unscripted Sports, all one word on TikTok. And then you can find us on YouTube under Unscripted, followed by the date of the show you want to see, and it'll pop up there. Otherwise, you can still go to ASAP on Facebook. You can find us there, as well as Unscripted Facebook page as well, man. All right, let's get into this. The first thing I want to talk about, Logan, is I want to talk about OBJ if I can.
All right, let's do
it. He made his trip to Dallas, and Dallas did a pretty thorough medical evaluation of OBJ, and the consensus seems to be that the Cowboys are on the fence about this surgically repaired knee. He's only 10 months out. He hasn't even had a full year. And the fact that he's only 10 months out, I think there seems to be some question as to whether or not it's fully healed enough to actually play this year. And I think because of that, it makes them hesitant because they know they got James Washington coming back in the fold. Actually, it should be pretty soon. I think even before the playoffs. So I think the Cowboys are really kind of on the fence as, number one, do we need to bring in OBJ if James Washington's coming back? Number two, his knee doesn't look like it's actually fully ready to go, which means he really should not even try to come back until probably training camp or even before training camp next year. So they didn't even make him an offer. Logan, this man left Dallas and Jerry never even extended him an offer. Now, that's got to tell you something. If Jerry is not extending him an offer, and they're come out in public said that we don't like where he's at in his recovery. We still think it needs to be a little bit longer before he should try to make a comeback. What does that tell you for the Giants or even the Buffalo Bills if they decide to say, you know what, screw the medical report, we're going to throw him in there anyway? I mean, for me, I'd rather wait on him and have him come back next year. Honestly, if I'm Odell Beckham and the medical staff says, yo, Odell, we can't recommend you to Jerry because you're not fully ready to go. Because let me tell you something, if he was ready to go and he got a clean bill of health, you don't think Jerry not going to extend him a contract? Come on, man.
And with the, as you've seen throughout your tenure as a Cowboys fan, Jay, Jerry Jones will pretty much give anyone a contract if they're willing, if they're healthy enough.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like we kind of said on Tuesday, if he doesn't sign within probably the next 2 weeks, because we're in week 13, 14 right now, and then the playoffs are right around the corner, I don't think he'll sign this year. And since there are concerns that he's not 100%. I get he wants to get back on the field. I know he hasn't been healthy in recent seasons. I mean, he was good. He was solid last year with Los Angeles. It wasn't like he was doing nothing, but he was pretty solid. And unfortunately, he got hurt the worst time. But I don't know. It's looking less and less likely he will sign somewhere. I mean, I thought Dallas was like a front runner to get him. I thought earlier in the year, even before the season started, I thought Green Bay would be a good option. But it doesn't seem likely, man, that he's going to get picked up this year. But, I mean, that doesn't mean that I think that we could see in free agency he could get a contract somewhere, right? A 1 year, maybe possibly a 2-year deal, just depending on how he's healthy, how he's doing at workouts, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm kind of losing some steam on him signing for the rest of the 2022 season.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, this is the same OBJ that Parsons has publicly come out and lobbied for, and Trayvon Diggs has come out and publicly lobbied for to be signed, as well as Dak Prescott. So he's got the weight of his team, or the Dallas Cowboys, lobbying. They want to play with OBJ. You don't think that Jerry doesn't take that into consideration? He's like, damn, I got my number one guy on defense begging to play with him, to the point where he's taking him out to Dallas Maverick games, and the crowd, the whole damn stadium is chanting OBJ. The city wants him. The players want him. There's no reason for Jerry to turn it down unless, medically speaking, he's just not ready to go. And I would tell you, if I was the Bills and if I was the Giants, you don't think they don't know what's going on in Dallas? You don't see how bad we're lobbying for him, but then he doesn't get a contract because of medical issues? If I'm the other teams, I'm looking at Dallas and I'm thinking like, damn, if they didn't offer a contract, there must be something there. And if there's something there, maybe we need to take a more extensive look ourselves if they're doing their due diligence. But I wish them the best. I really do.
We'll see what happens.
Man, hey, and by the way, I did want to throw in there the fact that OBJ is 30 years old, and I did want to mention that he is coming off back-to-back consecutive ACL tears.
And time flies, but it doesn't feel like he's in the league for that many years.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe 30. But he's been there since what, 2013, maybe?
Yeah.
Give or take?
It's about 13. When he made the immaculate catch, I think Des Bryant was still on the Cowboys at that time.
I would say he was probably still their number one guy, and maybe with another year or two to spare.
Oh, absolutely. But just let that sink in. I mean, not only is there issues with him, them not feeling like he is fully recovered, but he's also coming off back-to-back tears. I mean, come on. That's got to tell you, hey, maybe we should put a tactical momentary pause on this. But people will still give him the opportunity, which they should. But I think he needs to wait until next year and come back next year. I think that would really be in his best interest. But, hey, I can't tell OBJ what to do. Only OBJ can tell himself that. Switching gears real quick, the other thing I want to talk about real quick is Ohtani. I've seen the chats where people are asking, why haven't people gone after Ohtani? Well, people got to remember that last year, or even I think it was this year, the Angels came out and publicly said that Ohtani was not on the market, that he would not be traded. But I will tell you this, Logan, come free agency in 2023, they're going to be all over Ohtani like white on rice paper, baby.
Brother, you're not kidding.
He's going to be the next Aaron Judge, where everybody's just speculating, where is Ohtani going to land? Well, I can tell you quite honestly, we know the teams that are going to be number one, extremely procuring about him. One of them is the Yanks, the number one team out there, and then the Boston Red Sox, the Mets, the Cubs. I mean, those are probably what, 1, 2, 3, 4 teams right off the bat. Pirates, Rangers. There's going to be a few teams looking to put, Ohtani on their squad. And I think if I'm Ohtani, I'm probably going to pick, if I was them, I'd probably pick either the Mets or the Yankees, just because I feel like either one of them are probably the most World Series ready on either side of the league.
But it's also, too, Jay, is they got to give up some stuff, for God's sake.
Oh, they're going to have to give up something.
Because, I mean, my God, let's just mention those two teams you just said, the Mets and the Yankees, right? The Mets just shelled out a lot of money for Lindor, for Alonso, for Verlander, for sure. Like, there's a lot of guys they're paying. And the Yankees, obviously, they have a deep payroll with Judge now. They have a ton of guys who are worth a lot of money. So you're gonna have to cut some bait somewhere. I don't know where, but I don't know, Jay. Like I said, I don't think the Angels haven't even done anything this offseason of note, really, have they?
You said what? I'm sorry. Say again.
I said, have the Angels really even done anything this offseason
not at all. Not at all.
to be worth mentioning? I mean, that's the issue I see with this team, man, is you have arguably, right, 2 of the top 10 players in baseball, position players, and you don't got nothing around them to support them. Say, Ohtani's never made the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Mike Trout, I don't think, he's won a playoff game. He's been with us for 10 years almost. And you don't do anything to support them at all.
Right. And I think we should remember a couple of things. Number one, that Ohtani may not even sign with the team. I think Ohtani, we talked about this on Around the Bases this morning with Gonzo, Frankie, and Stat Guy. And what we talked about what was brought up was that he came to the United States just to see if he could play with us. Well, I think he's met that goal. And they said pre-marriage that he probably most likely won't even sign with the team when he goes to free agent. He may actually just go back to Japan. If that happens, it happens. But if he does happen to sign with the Mets, or he does happen to sign with the Yankees, I'm going to take the Yankees, for example. Yeah, more than likely. Well, the fact that he plays DH, you could probably look at your DH spot. Whoever is there, if they're not incredibly 100% like, all in on that guy, they could trim the fat at that DH spot, slide him in there, and then they could look at the starting rotation and figure out, okay, do we really need Montas? Okay, trim Montas. Do you really need maybe a Severino? Maybe you trim Severino, and you just go with Garrett Cole, a Cortez, and then I guess you would keep Severino and Ohtani. So that would give you a 4-man. But yeah, somewhere you're going to have to trim the fat a little bit. But then again, this is the Yankees, and there is no cap, Logan. So
for that team. For really just 3 teams now. I mean, maybe you can throw in 4. You got the Yankees, you got the Dodgers, you got the Mets, and then hell, you can even throw the Rangers in there now. As much money as they're paying, guys.
Right, especially if the Rangers want to continue to build on their rotation, like Stat Guy said. We're going to have the young guy Jack Leiter coming up. They already have Rom. If they had brought in Ohtani, that's like 3 in your rotation right there. So. Yeah, and of course we know what, like I said, what Ohtani brings with the bat. That's just more kerosene for that well-lit fire. So there's definitely some optional moves, right? John
there's a good bit of options out there, and he's going to get offers from every team.
Yeah, and John Sutton goes on to say, he says, what about Seattle would be a good spot for him, honestly, if they are going back the truck up and win now. I do agree. I think, Seattle's put some pieces in place in their rotation as well as in their fielding and in their offense. So, yeah, Seattle could be a spot if they want to open it. And then he also goes on and mentions your boy, the Atlanta Braves or the Giants.
Yeah, I take it. I would gladly take him here.
I'm going to the Braves. Hey, before I go to the Giants, I'm going to the Braves. The Braves are a much better position than the Giants. Just have too many issues to really be a factor for Ohtani, honestly.
And the thing is that the Braves actually have money to give out to Ohtani because they give other guys such cheap deals, and they sign him. And, I don't know what kind of witchcraft Anthropoulos is doing, Jay, but I love it.
He also says, you think Lamar done right not signing that contract? They look terrible. I would like to see him on the Rams. We're going to on that one because we're going to talk about a lot of that in the NFL. So we're going to save that conversation for the NFL because that actually falls right in alignment with the questions I have myself. So, John, hold on to that a minute. I promise you when we get to the NFL, we will come back to that and we'll address that fully. Let's get into the conversation at hand. We're going to talk a little college football, Logan. Got some bowl games coming up, baby.
Oh, we got some good ones, too.
Bowl games. I just want to talk a little bit about this transfer portal. Man, what a time to be alive, Logan. I feel like the transfer portal now, it's almost like, in a way, it's like, I know you go to this quote-unquote signing day for your team, but what does signing day really mean at this point anymore, right?
Yeah.
You go there, you play a year. If you don't like what you see, you just jump in the portal and off you go to somebody else. I think the transfer portal is a good thing for the players, but it's a bad thing for the universities because it makes it really hard to develop the chemistry in your team if every time you look around, these guys are jumping ship. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to be a backup quarterback in this league. They'd rather go to somewhere else and try to be a starter. So it really makes it hard, even for like any number of these teams, to build any sort of backup, in case your guy goes down, right? Take JT Daniels. This guy's on his fourth team.
Oh, goodness.
He just went back into the portal again. Now, where he's going to go and where he's going to play, it's anybody's guess. It said 3,000 players entered the portal last year. 3,000 players.
And I'm sure it's going to be more this year.
Wow.
I could probably guarantee it'd be more, honestly.
Yeah. Well, look at it right now. Bo Nix to Oregon, Spencer Rattler to South Carolina, Caleb Williams to USC.
Yeah. Sometimes these work out great, sometimes they work out great. Sometimes not so much, like you mentioned with Daniels. Right. DJU from Clemson, he's going somewhere now. And that's the thing, just touching on it real quick, is you mentioned that if you're a backup somewhere for a year or two, if you're not getting any playing time, that maybe then it's a little more it's better to move on and go somewhere else that you are going to be getting some playing time as a starter. I could get that. But I don't understand if you're if you're a starter, if you're a fringe starter, you play half the games or whatnot, and then you go somewhere else to, sometimes a lesser school who had a rough year the year prior just for more playing time. It's a little iffy, Jay. And my God, especially now with Dion going to Colorado. How many players do you think are going to want to sign up to go there now?
And that's the thing. That's really, I think, okay, I'm glad you said that, because I think Jackson State is the perfect example of how the transfer portal can hurt a university. Right. And again, I have no problems if Dion wants to go to Colorado University. Hey, look, man, do you? If you think that's a better opportunity for you to advance your career in coaching, hey, I'm not here to stop you. But why are you going to take your son, who is already the starting quarterback for Jackson State? Why are you taking him away from Jackson State to go with you? I understand you want to go to Colorado, instantaneously just be badass because you put your son over there, but you're raping. And I hate to use a word that's as strong as rape, but you are raping Jackson State of everything that it had, all the credibility that their football program had. You're literally raping it to go to Colorado. If you want to go to Colorado as yourself, I ain't got no problem. Hey, do it. But leave Jackson State with something to build on after you've left. Leave them something. And that's where I think the transfer portal is not necessarily the most helpful thing to a school or even a student body that's trying to root for their team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean, and obviously we all knew that. Again, it is his son first and foremost. So of course he's going to go with his dad to wherever. But you got to think that, I don't know if it's official, but you got to think Travis Hunter, right, number one recruit, he's going to go over there. A lot of other guys, and I don't know if we've really ever seen this kind of mass exodus, right, Jay? We saw with with Oklahoma, we just saw with Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. Both of them left Oklahoma, and they went to USC together. It's worked out really well for them for the most part. And we might be seeing more of it. And also to what John said about Devin Leary. I thought he could have been maybe a top 5 quarterback this year. And, it just didn't work out that way at NC State. And now he's moving somewhere else, which, I guess if he wants to go somewhere else, maybe, it's an ACC school, Jay. You can't go a whole lot higher than that, right? You can go a few more levels, but you're already at a pretty high spot.
Oh, and I get that. I do. One of the biggest things Dion said was he wanted to go to HBCU school to help, build up, those HBU type programs.
Right.
But when he left, do you really honestly think people are going to go to HBC? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think. Obviously, it's not going to be as well documented because obviously, just the persona, the coach, but as well as he did with that school.
Right.
It's not going to be as good as it's been, obviously, but I don't think they're going to be a team that's down the dumps with as good as he left the program with all the sponsorships, the new everything he did for that school, elevated it to a new level.
Oh,
and
yeah. I get that.
I do think that Jackson State will be a good powerhouse in the SWAC for a few seasons. It remains to be seen how they're going to do with recruiting. How that's going to change up some. But I think that if Jackson State hadn't have done nothing, right? If they sucked, if they didn't win any games, all that, and he left, I could understand a good bit of the outrage as to why he left. But my God, Jay, he got him a championship, an undefeated season, one loss the year prior. You can't get much better than that. And now he's going to a program in Colorado who ain't done nothing. They got one win last year. Let's be real here. This team ain't done nothing in 10 years, if that. And he is on a mission, Jay. I don't know where all this came from, but he is on a mission to turn this school around. And
yeah, he's the coordinator from Kent State. Yeah. I think he got the defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, from FSU. I think that Dion, almost proved by himself why HBCU schools won't get to that level ever. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when he went there and turned around and left to go to Colorado, that's exactly what every coach behind him is going to do. They're going to go there. They're going to follow his example. They're going to maybe get an FBCU school, make them good. And then the first minute they could go to an SEC school, a Big 12 or whatever, they're going to jump ship too. Because that's the model that Dion made. Dion made the model of, I'm going to go to Jackson State. I'm going to use my credentials. I'm going to turn it around. And then the moment I can get an SEC or a Big 12 or whatever, that's where I'm going to leave and I'm going to go there. And I think that's the reason why I was saying I don't know if HBCU schools will ever be anything more than what they are, is because I just don't think their conference that they're in is big enough that's going to entice coaches to stay there or try to grow into something better. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely get what you're saying. And John had a comment saying, let's see, he said, you won't turn Colorado around because the Pac-12 beats other up. He won't never be top 6. Hell, Jay, if he gets top 25, that'll be great for this program.
Man, hey, listen.
I'm not saying he's going to get this year. He ain't going to get this thing year one because he hasn't even gotten recruiting yet, right? But
if he can just be better than 2 and 12,
I think
he's doing good.
Yeah, if he can be better than that, and if he can get some better recruits in there, for God's sake. This team ain't done nothing. Also, he called him a sellout. Colorado has a 4.7. I don't get what the population has to do with anything. But yeah.
Well, and I saw that too. And another thing too is, I was looking at a lot of schools. You can look at Oregon, Alabama, A&M. All these schools have double-digit portal entries. So I think there's a lot of kids. There's certainly a plethora of kids in that portal that Dion could just, pick and choose from. And he could rebuild that program just with what's in the transfer portal alone. There's more than enough talent that he could build around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and it'll all go back to where he started at, Jay. He started this at HBCU in the SWAC. He didn't start it. He could have went to FSU. He could have went to a big name school. He had offers for it, but he chose not to. He chose to go to JSU to grind, to build that program up. He did a very good job, I would say. And now he's going on to hopefully try and rebuild Colorado. We'll see what he can do though.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. So the first window which is the window we're in right now that you can enter the transfer portal, is 5 December, and it's going to close at 18 January. Now, that's just to get into the portal. You can sign with any school you want to at any time. But in order to get into the window, that's the date to get into. You won't see another window open up until May 1 through 15. So you're going to have that little 2-week period in May, which will be the other window opportunity. So it's going to be interesting to see how many more kids get up in there. Like I said, I think right now we're at about 1,000. I'm sure it may be a little over 1,000 now. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So December 31st, let's talk about the playoffs, because that's what we're getting ready to get up into at the end of this month, and we're not that far away, folks, from seeing the national playoffs get kicked off. The first one's going to be at 4 o'clock, the Fiesta Bowl. That's going to feature TCU and Michigan. Logan, I got a few questions, and Frankie says never say never, and I agree, never say never, because anything is truly possible, folks. But again, we got TCU, Michigan. Logan, can TCU stop that Michigan running? Now, they don't got Corum, but they do got Edwards, and we know what Edwards did against Ohio. Can TCU – and we know that TCU kind of struggled with the run defense against Kansas State. So how do you see TCU – can they stop that run defense of Michigan, or is that just going to be their Achilles heel?
So do we know if Corum is going to be out for this game or not? Are we sure? Or
as far as I know, I have not seen anything that speculates Corum coming back. I've only seen Edwards.
Well, if he is out, right, and we're just saying this hypothetically, he might come back. Who knows? If he is out, then you could definitely pinpoint that. It's not going to be as strong. I know you mentioned, they still had some success, but that's their guy. That's their go-to guy, right? They have a decent quarterback. They have a good team, but Blake Corum is what kind of makes that team click on offense. And if he's not going to be there for this ball game, I think TCU has definitely a better shot at shutting the run down, all in all.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Max Dugan. Excuse me, I apologize. Max Dugan, he's going to have a huge game with TCU going against Michigan. We saw how much he put that TCU program on his back in that final quarter of that game, to the point where literally, I still think it was a bad play call, I think, that really screwed him over. But Max Dugan, what he did with that, how do you see Max Dugan faring against Michigan?
To me, Jay, this is where I don't believe these games count towards voting, but this is where he proves if he gets to silence some guys, silence some haters, to say, how come this guy is a Heisman candidate? And this is where he can just, shut them all up. And because, there's a lot of people that don't think TCU has a fighting chance in this game. Let's be real here. They think that, it's big, bad Michigan, Coach Harbaugh, all those guys. And it's like, it's TCU. But I'm telling you, Jay, in the playoffs, I don't think this is going to be a repeat of Cincinnati last year, right? TCU is a good program. Obviously, they had a great season so far, and they got a Heisman candidate. So they have some advantages, and I think that Max Dugan will do what he's done the whole year. I think he'll have a solid game and keep TCU in it for all 4 quarters.
And I just seen on here, Michigan did lose Blake Corum for the season. So, we will not see Blake Corum. It will be Edwards getting that starting nod against TCU. But like I said, I don't think it matters if we got Corum or if you got Edwards in there, because we saw with Edwards how well he played against Ohio. It doesn't seem to really impact him at all. So I think regardless of whoever it is, they're going to come with that hardcore running game. Let me ask you this. What is your key for TCU to have a chance?
Ooh, that's a good one, Jake. I'm gonna go back to my 2 points there. I think you got to have Dugan have a tremendous ball game. Literally, I think that he needs to have 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's got to play flawless, because Michigan's got a solid team all around offense, defense, it don't matter. They have a good program. And you cannot give them any window of opportunity, Jay. You can't, or else they will take it, and they will beat you over the head with it. So stop the run, even though it is going to be slightly easier, I'll say, since Corum ain't going to be there. Also, don't discredit Michigan's quarterback. I mean, they know that TCU is going to hammer down on stopping the run, but watch out though, because we've seen some in bowl games, in high-profile games, we've seen some kind of different game plans for a lot of different schools. So Michigan could go a little bit more pass-heavy than usual in this ball game, just to kind of throw TCU off. Trick plays are going to be a big thing too. You don't see in the regular season. So if you're TCU, mostly just focus on stopping the run. Don't just completely blow off the passing game, and you got to play flawless on offense. You can't give up any turnovers. I don't want to see any fumbles or any interceptions. Same on special teams too. You got to convert your field goals, your extra points, your easy money shots. You can't miss those if you want to win this ball game.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think my keys for them to win would be, number one, like I was saying a minute ago, run defense, run defense, run. You've got to stop or at least contain as much of that run as possible in order to give your team an opportunity. I think, number two, you've got to get pressure on McCarthy, or at least you got to force McCarthy to throw the ball quicker than what he wants to. You got to disrupt this offense some kind of way, whether it be run defense, whether it be getting pressure on McCarthy, some kind of way. TCU's defense has to step up to an elite level, number one. And number two, Max Duggan, if you hear me well. You cannot come out slow like you've done in the past and expect to always get the win in the second half. With Michigan, that will not work. With Michigan, you've got to come out. You got to come out hot and heavy, and you got to score and score often and score as much as you can in order to take away that run game, which is, let's be honest, Michigan is not known for McCarthy. They're just not. They're known for that run game. And if you can take away that run game by scoring on them often and early and put them in passing mode a lot more often, that's your bread and butter. You got to attack. And like Max Duggan said, we cannot be afraid of the lights. We got to come out and play our football and play it to our best ability. And that's exactly right. That's what you got to do, Bubba.
There you go.
And Tony Gonzalez says their defense is key. I totally agree, Tony. I totally agree.
What's up next, Jay? What we got?
Hey, that's what I wanted to kind of hit on was the Georgia-Ohio, which I think is crazy, man. I think Georgia is just going to absolutely destroy Ohio. I think C.J. Stroud is not going to know what hit him. I think Bennett is going to look like Bennett because, well, quite honestly, he has all the weapons he needs. And I really think what's going to hurt Ohio is the same thing that hurt Ohio when they played Michigan, and that's just their soft defense. I think their defense absolutely is going to kill them, and I see them run the ball just like Michigan ran the ball. And I just think that's the key for Georgia. Run the ball, play your defense, and then let Stetson Bennett just do game management mode, and you're going to be just fine. Logan, what do you think?
All right. So for Ohio State, I mean, you touched on it. Great. It's your defense. I don't care about your offense. We already know what they can do. They can score 40 points a night with ease. We've seen that whole season. They've got a tremendous wide receiving core. They've got a great quarterback. So they're stacked on offense. But the defense needs to come up big like it hasn't the entire year pretty much. I mean, this is your do or die game here against the number one ranked undefeated team in the country, for God's sake. So, I don't care about your offense right now. I don't. I know what your offense can do. Show me something on defense this ball game. As for Georgia, I will say, Jay, shameless plug real quick. We did actually have Stetson Bennett's mother on our show today at Access WGUA. We talked to her, great lady. So go check that out and get her thoughts on her son. But I mean, for Georgia, just do what you've done all season, right? Play that hard-nosed defense, and then get turnovers, the interceptions, strip sacks, all that. And for your offense, just do what you've done all year, right? Punches and bunches. If you need Stetson to throw it for 30, he can do it. If you just need to throw, 5-yard slants all ball game. Have them do that too. Make it easy for them. And I mean, I think that if Georgia just plays the games, the majority of games they've played this year, they have had a few rough ones, but
Right.
just play what you've done for a vast majority of the year of hard-nosed defense that is, tops in the country and a really solid, consistent offense. I mean, that's the key to victory, man. It's clear as day. I mean, you got Kirby Smart as well. Like, let's not forget the now back-to-back Coach of the Year. I mean, they know what they're doing over there in Georgia. So I think that Georgia, play your ball game you normally do, nothing new different, honestly. And as for Ohio State, just buckle down on defense, brother.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. We're going to switch over to now NFL. I want to talk about a few things on the other side of life. Von Miller tore his ACL.
Oh,
God,
man, you hate to see it.
So my question to you, number one, is how does it affect OBJ coming in terms of how does it affect OBJ wanting to come? Not from the Bills' perspective, but from OBJ's perspective, what does that do for his want to come to Buffalo? And then, two, what does it do for just Buffalo all the way around? Because that is their defensive captain, leader, whatever you want to call it. That's the defense.
Yeah, well, as for OBJ, I don't know if it's going to be a huge factor in his decision. I think, honestly, at this point, Jay, he'll just want to play wherever the hell he wants to, who gives him a contract. But as for him going down for the year, obviously you don't like to see that because, A, you mentioned that is their guy. That is their leader, their workhorse on defense. We all know Von Miller's accomplishments, soon to be Hall of Famer when he hangs up the cleats.
Right.
But you're going into the playoffs very soon. You just lost your guy you signed for a handful of years for a lot of money, who was supposed to kind of lead the charge going into the playoffs. And now you're just kind of stuck wondering who's that next big guy, the linebacker, defensive end, defensive tackle, who's going to come up big and help out, who's going to be the guy who maybe we see on the score sheet, Jay, who has a solid game here and there, but we don't really know his name, who's going to come out of nowhere. That's what they need at this point for that defense to keep what they've been doing all year. It's a big loss. I mean, there is no understating it. That is a huge loss for the Bills at the worst time possible with the playoffs right around the corner. So I don't know if they'll be able to duplicate what he's done this year with a player or two, but
Right.
I mean, you just kind of hope he can for the sake of getting championship.
Absolutely. Next, I was going to talk about the Texans benching of Kyle Allen. I want to go back to Davis Mills after just 2 starts.
Brother, I don't know. I couldn't pick Kyle Allen out of the lineup if you showed him to me. I mean, Davis Mills pretty much the same either. I know a little bit about him, but I mean, let's be honest here. The Texans need a quarterback in the draft. Their team's awful. There is no sugarcoating it. They're the worst team in the league, I believe, in terms of record. They have some good pieces though, Jay. I like Pierce. I like Dameon Pierce. I like some of their defensive guys. But they need to get a true blue quarterback from, I don't know who you're going to get, but you got to get someone. And then you got to get a few more weapons on offense in terms of your receiving core. So, I mean, I don't think this quarterback change is going to be monumental or nothing because, I mean, Davis Mills wouldn't have lost the spot to begin with. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I just think the Texans are still battling for that number one pick as opposed to the number one spot in the league.
Oh, there's definitely no doubt in my mind that they're getting the number one pick. It's just going to be a matter of what quarterback they decide to go with.
Yep.
Which we'll talk on the next show. We'll talk more about that, and we'll kind of dive into that a little bit. Raiders versus. Hey, I'm going to go 1 for 1. I'm going to take a team, I'll take a game, then you're going to take a game. We're going to be the fastest 2-minute block ever. Raiders versus Rams. Wow, I'm going to let you have this one.
Hey, you already know, baby.
Would you start Mayfield? Couple questions. Would you start Mayfield game 3?
Uh-huh.
And if you do not think he is playing, or if you don't think he's playing this game, do you see him playing this season?
Well, okay, they are going to start Baker. Obviously, that's why they chose to sign him. They have more faith in him. They do their backup. Also, Jay, it wouldn't surprise me if he has a solid game. As much as his reputation, his games, as bad as it's been this year, it wouldn't surprise me if he's out for some revenge. But you already know I'm going with the Raiders in this one. Baby, come on. Let's get that one before.
No, hey, trust me, I'm going Raiders in this one as well.
Yes,
the number 2 one is a big game.
All right.
In terms of divisional, you got the Jets and Bills. The Jets just lost their offensive tackle, Mitchell, to injury, which means Fant is going to start. Man, they just cannot stay healthy for anything. But you also know, by the same token, Von Miller clearly is gone. Can the Jets get the win over and get the upset over the Bills? No, I don't think they have quite enough there to do that. But I do think that it's going to be a good game. And this will be the second big test for Mike White, and if he is the guy to get it done.
If Mike White keeps them in all 4 quarters, if he keeps his mistakes down, I think this will be a good ball game. I think it'll be close, but I'm still going to go with Buffalo getting the win in this one.
Absolutely. The next game is Browns Bengals. I only put this in there because it's Watson versus Burrow. Who do you think comes out in this one?
Give me the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow and company and Jamar Chase and all of them. I think they're kind of duplicate what they did last year a little bit. So I'm gonna give them the win in this one. Watson didn't look sharp his first week back. I think he'll look better this week. But I'll still give him another week to get things fully handled there for the offense. So give me the Bengals in this one.
All right, next one. I put this in there only because I feel like the Jags have something to prove now, and I feel like they're still a team that can get small wins here and there. And so we got Titans versus the Jags. We know Trayon Burks is hurt right now, but I think he's still playing. But in this one, I'm going to go with the Jags, pulling the upset off on the Titans, and I hope that doesn't happen because the Titans are my defense and Henry is my running back. But I don't know, man. My heart just tells me Jags got something up their sleeve.
Well, Jay, I predicted it last week and I was wrong, so I'm gonna shoot for it twice. I'll have Derrick Henry going for a big ball game in this one because he's kind of been off this year a little bit. He has been off a little bit this year, so I'll go with the Titans in this one. Plus, I mean, hell, who knows? They might be a little bit more amped up since their GM got fired. I'm sure some guys maybe didn't like him.
I'm actually really thoughtfully going against the Titans only because I feel like when I say I go for something that benefits me, it never happens. So if I go against it, it always happens. So I'm just doing
some reverse psychology. I like it.
I have to, man, because this is the make or break game for me to stay in the playoffs. So I need this game, and I'm going against Gonzo. God bless his heart. I tried to pay Gonzo some money just to get all his team on buys, but it didn't work. Hey, next one. This is a big game. Bucks versus Niners. Garoppolo is out. They're going to be with Purdy again, and they still. I think the Niners still have the advantage? I'm going with Bucks on this. I think Brady does it, man. I think he does it. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I got Brady getting the win in this one. He's looked a little bit better as of late. We know the game-winning drive he had recently. Look like his old self again. And, I mean, we just have the unknown, Jay. We don't know how Brock Purdy's going to look. So I got to go with the trusted vet and Tom Brady. Give me the Buccaneers.
Was it a bad move that San Francisco didn't claim Baker off of waivers?
It remains to be seen, I think. I can't give a definite yes or no right now, man. Because, I mean, let's face it, Baker ain't looked sharp this year. We don't know if that's a case of his talent himself or if it's the talent around him. We'll see this upcoming week. But, I mean, like I said, they did draft Purdy. I get it was the last pick, but you draft him for a reason. Trey Lance got knocked out earlier. Now you got Jimmy G done for. I mean, I don't know, man. If Purdy doesn't look too hot, I don't know. San Francisco might be in for a world of trouble. And especially if Baker looks good, but that remains to be seen. So right now, I forgot it was a question mark.
Last question on San Fran. Do you think that lightning can strike in a bottle twice and Purdy could replicate or be a replicant of Tom Brady?
Yeah, I honestly, Jay, I think so because I love those stories so much. I really do. And now, do I think that Purdy is going to go in there and take the starting job and all like that? No. But do I think he could lead a team to a nice little playoff run? Yeah, I mean, screw it. Why not, man? I would love to see that. It seems like sometimes those Cinderella stories just have a way of writing themselves, and that's what I want to see. So, yeah, give me some love for Brock Purdy.
So we're going to move on now to the Dolphins versus the Chargers. Again, another huge, huge game because the implications are the Dolphins they're trying to get back to that top spot or at least, keep what they got, that momentum got going. They're taking on the Chargers this week. Another big game, even for the Chargers in their division.
Yep.
Can Tua, right this ship from last week? Last week Tua just didn't look
too good. A rough week.
Yeah, he had a rough loss to the Vikings. Can he get past that mental hurdle, get back in the wheel on this thing? And then number two, Chargers are still hurting, are still trying, or I should say they're still in the hunt for the wild card. So the Chargers are trying to get into the wild card. Dolphins are just trying to get the momentum back. But I think this game means more to the Chargers and their people. So do you think that that's going to fuel the Chargers to get past the Dolphins, or how do you see that playing out?
I think we get a Tua revenge game, Jay. I think we'll get a game where he comes out there and lights it up. So I got to go with the Dolphins in this one. I know he had a really rough week previously, and I mean up till then he's done really, really well this year. I mean our guy Rob Strike can tell you how good he's done.
Right.
But I think that he gets some pushback this week, and I think he has a good revenge game. I had to be in a shootout though with him and Herbert though. I think it's going to be a high scoring ball game.
The last game, and I need to go back and look at this to find out how close it is. Matter of fact, give me just 1 sec. Since we're actually doing really good. Logan, I got us back on time, so we're doing good.
There we go.
Hey, watch this. The league, if I look at the league and I look at – I don't want to look at the league. I want to look at playoffs. If I look at the playoffs and I look at the AFC, New England – let's see here. We got no, I don't want to do it. Damn, I hate when I do that. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, number 7 are the Jets at 7-5. New England at 6-6. So this game is pivotal. If the Bills beat the Jets and the Patriots beat the Cards, well, now we're looking at a tie for that 7th spot. And I don't know how that plays out. Who would get the overall on that? But this game is huge.
I think it would just be the tiebreaker, right? How they've matched up in the regular season, I believe.
Right.
But don't quote me on that. That's just what I believe it is. But yeah, no, that would be wild if that happens, Jay. But I'm all for it, man. Like I said, I'm hopping on this Jets bandwagon because they haven't been good since I was a toddler. So I'm all for them, brother.
Yeah. So the Patriots beat the Jets November 20th, 10-3.
Yeah, that was a game.
So I think that would work if the Patriots tie the Jets, then the tie would go to the Patriots, and the Jets would just be kicked out.
I believe that's how it works. Like I said, I'm pretty sure.
That's how. But hey, either way, this week has huge implications.
Yes,
right?
It does. Yes, it does. With only a handful of weeks left in the season. Oh my God, yes.
So let me ask you this: Patriots, Cards, who are you taking?
I'm feeling the Patriots, Jay. I don't know, bro. The Cardinals was a team in the beginning of the year I thought would be good. I don't know what the hell's happened to them. They have good pieces, Jay. They just cannot get nothing going. So I got to go with the balanced attack of the Pats. And give me Belichick in this one.
Yeah, and be honest with you, just because I'm going Jets. I hope the Jets get the win and Patriots get the loss. Because sometimes you just want to see a team just not be there once they've been there for so long. I think it's time that Frankie the Yankee, who I love dearly, and I am the uncle to his children, and he will tell you that. Even though he's pissed off at me, I'm still the uncle. He knows that. But sometimes Frankie just needs to be, not in the playoffs and just sit back and watch us for a minute. All right, folks. We're going to move on real quick. Actually, no, we're going to stay here. Just a different subject matter, because actually this is the last slide. This is the last subject matter I have. Who heads your MVP vote? Now, Logan, I put a lot of thought into this. And I went and I researched all the numbers.
Give me your thought first. Let me think about it.
I broke it down by stats. I broke it down by record. And this is what I came up with as my top 6. I think is what I have. Yeah, top 6 in this specific order. This is my top 6 for my who I think is in the head for MVP. I got Mahomes at 1. I got Hurts at 2. I got Allen at 3. I got Burrows at 4. I got Geno at 5, and I got Jackson at 6. That's my top 6.
Yeah, Jay. As much as I hate to say it, and as much of a big of a fan of the Raiders as I am, you can't deny how great Patrick Mahomes has been, bro. You really can't.
I can't.
I mean, when everyone thought,
I mean, so bad.
When all of us on the panel thought that maybe the Chiefs were going to take a step back this season after all of the other acquisitions throughout the AFC West and the talent that left KC, I mean, it's not like I thought Mahomes was going to struggle, but my God, I didn't expect him to put up these numbers still. So, yeah, for right now, he is the front runner with as talented as he's been, and with the and the losses he's had in the offseason, the game. I mean, he hasn't skipped a beat. So he would get my vote.
And
he gives me nightmares, but he gets my vote.
So if you had Mahomes at number one, what would your other five be? Just on top of your head, what would be your other five? And if you don't have that right now, hey, I'm not going to put you on the spot because I know you haven't really researched, so you don't have to answer that. But you definitely have Mahomes as your number one.
Yeah, Mahomes is my number one. Derek Carr two, Devontae. No, Mahomes is my number one. I can't give you a top five, but Mahomes is my number one.
You know what's interesting? You know why I put Jackson at number 6? And I want to ask you specifically for one reason and one reason only. Everybody says how great Jackson is. We all know how good Jackson is. Everybody says he's in the contract talks. And I almost wonder if I don't think this year Jackson is playing. But then again, don't say that he's a playmaker. But let me just give you his quick stat line and then give me your comment on what you think of Lamar. Remember, he's in a contract year this year. And most likely he'll be in a contract year again next year. But right now, he has thrown for 2,242 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's got a QBR of 59.6. He's rushed for 764 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's his stat line.
Yeah, not obviously not an awful year, we'll say. I mean, it's not like he's out there sucking it up, but it's not the MVP year he had a couple seasons ago. And like you said, I mean, now he's banged up as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, which has played a part of it, I'm sure. But yeah, in his contract year, it doesn't help. I still think that he'll get a contract because I don't know what else Baltimore's going to do, bro. I don't. Because they're not a top team. I mean, you're not going to get a great a top tier quarterback selection where they're sitting at right now. So I think they just got to give him a contract. I don't know how long. I don't know the length. I don't know the money. I can't give you that.
Right.
But I think that they'll just kind of be forced in a way to give him that money.
And that's
just for security. Just for security.
I feel like when people bring up Jackson's name. And they compare him to Hurts. And I look over at Hurts, and Hurts has thrown 2,940. He's got 20 touchdowns, 3 picks, a 108.3 QBR, 609 yards rushing, and 9 touchdowns. And Hurts is just blowing Jackson out of the water pretty much in every damn category there is. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Hurts
especially this year, too. Especially this year, like you mentioned.
Oh yeah, I mean honestly, if you took Hurts rushing, added on to his passing, if you look at Hurts all-purpose yardage and then compare that with Mahomes, the only thing that Mahomes would really have on Hurts is the fact that Mahomes has given you 30 touchdowns and 8 picks. I mean, it's really the touchdowns that Mahomes has given you. It's certainly not the record. Because then when you look at the record, you can say, well, Hurts is 11-1 and Mahomes is 9-3, and Mahomes lost to the freaking Colts.
And Jay, I will say, if the Chargers don't do something soon, I mean, they might have to do something with Herbert, bro. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to me to accept mediocrity. He seems like the guy who wants to go to a winning program. And right now they're not doing it.
Yeah, and look, medically, there's still something wrong with her. He's still not 100%. Those ribs jacked up, that's not 100%.
No, that's true. That's true.
I'm just saying.
See. All right.
All right, folks. I got one last thing, and then we're about to jet out. Just one last thing. Adam Schefter recently tweeted on December 7th of this year his top 5 vote getters for the Pro Bowl right now and this comes out per the NFL. And believe it or not, Logan, and I said this is the breakout year of Tua, and everybody said Tua was trash and he was done. But believe it or not, Tua is the number 1 guy in the Pro Bowl selection.
Wow.
Hey, at 138,000 votes, 138,390 votes. Justin Jefferson comes in at 2 at 137,826. Mahomes comes in at 3 at 133,607. Tyreek Hill, interesting enough, tied to Tua. I guess that doesn't make Tua not look good, right? At 132,100. And then Travis Kelce rounds it out at 5 at 131,378. What a time to be alive, right?
Yeah, and correct me if what are they doing with the Pro Bowl this year? Isn't it? Are they doing flag football or something? Didn't they switch things up? I mean, my God.
It's.
I mean, I know at this point it's a fan contest of voting about who you want and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. I've never cared for the Pro Bowl. I have never once been excited for the Pro Bowl. That's just me, because I grew up with the All-Star game in baseball where it meant something, right? You got home field advantage in the World Series. The Pro Bowl is just it's just there for no reason. There is no advantages. It's just kind of a game, and
the Pro Bowl is just going to be stupid. I think it's a bunch of
they got to do something.
skill competitions or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not watching.
I do enjoy the fact that they are changing it, especially after how horrible it was last year, where guys were getting two-hand touched. I mean, I'm glad they're switching up the format because, God, they needed to for years. But I don't. We'll see how it does. Like I said, we'll see how it does, Jay. I'm still not giving it a whole lot of.
Controversial, but if I want to see another man touch another man, I'll take my happy butt down to the local gay community, and I can watch it all night long. I don't have any inclination to watch one man touch another man unless he is tackling him. Okay, that's what it is. What it is. Logan, on that note, we're gonna do some final thoughts, and then we can. Oh, by the way, final thoughts, Logan. What is your final thought? We're gonna roll up out.
Yeah, final thoughts. I saw that Desmond Ridder is going to be the new starter for the Falcons, so we'll see how that goes. He is going to take over for Mariota, so we'll see how that goes. I know it's not going to be full send since Pitts is out, but
I think it's about time.
The Falcons needed extra juice, right? Mariota has been decent, but over the last couple of weeks he's been off. Arthur Smith, we know he don't mess around, so he's bringing in the young talent from Cincinnati. We'll see how he can do, bro. We'll see how he can do. Like I said, check us out: Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all those fun pages. We got some nice stuff coming out, Jay. I made a video earlier with Aaron Judge with the Wolf of Wall Street that I enjoyed making. Just, we're not leaving. And so check us out over there. And good show all around, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Wholeheartedly. I do, man. And again, man, hey, like I said, we didn't really get too much into the baseball. Matter of fact, we didn't touch baseball at all. But, hey, for any signings or for anything you want to catch on baseball, trust me, Unscripted has covered it. If you hop on over there, Frankie has done a hell of a job keeping a lot of signing updates and things like that on Twitter. So check us out on Twitter. At Unscripted Guys, all one word. Unscripted Guys, all one word. Over there on Twitter, and I swear to God, he will keep you up to date and abreast of everything that's going on, everything baseball related. You can catch over there, and then, like I said, catch Logan, what he's doing over there on TikTok at Unscripted Sports, all one word, and you can find out what Logan is doing over there. And I think between TikTok and Twitter, we keep you guys pretty much up to date, even throughout, but when the show's not going on. So I want to tip my hat to those guys. And as always, it's your boy Jay McLovin saying, hey, Big Joe Biden, you got 3 unaccounted Americans still stuck over there in Russia. Let's go get them out and get them home. Those are our servicemen, Joe. Bring our servicemen home, just like you brought Brittany Griner home. And I'll be happy, man. Bring everybody home that's over there, okay? That's all I'm asking. Joe, put the pressure. Let's go, baby. Until next time, it's your boy Jay McLovin, and I'm here with my boy Logan Babyface Landers, saying, hey, like, subscribe our stuff, and we appreciate you giving us your time to entertain you. And until next time, we out. Y'all be good.